Hi, everyone, and welcome to an on-location edition of All Things Aviation and Aerospace. I'm Vince Mickens, and today we are doing a show that is near and dear to my heart and one of the most unique opportunities in aviation you could ever imagine. We're going to talk to an organization, Challenge Air, that was, and I quote, created to change the perception of children with special needs through the gift of flight. Now that's about as close as you can get to me with aviation and special needs kids. Formed over 3 decades ago in 1993, Challenge Air has grown into a network of over 3,500 volunteers nationwide who are committed to making a difference in the lives of children with special needs. As I mentioned earlier, it's close to home. As I grew up with a brother who had special needs. So I know firsthand the impact that positive intervention can have with these kids. Told you guys I was going to get emotional.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. Joining me today as my guest co-host is Shari Anderson. Shari is a longtime flight attendant and dedicated aviation professional for Southwest Airlines, who has built a career around service, safety, and connection in the skies. Shari, welcome to All Things Aviation and Aerospace.
Thank you so much for having me.
It is so great to have you here, and boy, what a great subject or topic that we're gonna go over today. I understand that your journey with Challenge Air began actually at flight attendant training. Tell us about that real quick.
So I'm a flight attendant for Southwest Airlines, and 25 years ago when I was in flight attendant training, I had a dear friend who was involved with Challenge Air, and he called me and said, I know you have the weekend off and I'm going to come pick you up and take you to an event. So he brought me to an event, a fly day in Dallas. And it was just an opportunity that changed my life. I did not know what it was. I didn't know what it entailed, but it was a beautiful event that changed my life. So fast forward 25 years later, here we are. And I was scrolling Instagram and saw that Challenge Air was still around after all of these years.
And it had such an impact on you that you are now the chair of an event for them.
Yes.
Which is one of the things we're going to be talking about, that it's coming up here at Frederick Municipal next month.
Yeah.
One of the reasons we wanted to do this is to let everybody know about it, because I think I just think it's incredible. So we'll talk about that in detail in a little bit.
Awesome.
Let me introduce our panel of guests. First of all, I'd like to welcome April Culver. April is the executive director and CEO of Challenge Air, based there in Dallas, Texas, at their headquarters over by Dallas Love Field. April has been captaining, I had to throw that in, the pilot term, Challenge Air for the past 10 years, and comes from an extensive background in nonprofit management and fundraising. April, it's really great to have you on All Things Aviation and Aerospace.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. We also thought it would be kind of a great idea to include one of the longtime volunteer pilots, Mark Stapleton, who has flown for Challenge Air in Dallas, Texas, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Atlanta, Georgia, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, just to name a few. I got to make a side note here, Mark. You fly absolutely one of my favorite aircraft, the Cessna Centurion 210. I love that airplane. I love the way it flies. And I'm a little jealous that you get to fly it every day or as often as you want. And I think it's kind of cool that, what better airplane to fly your pet in?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So and it's got no struts, so it's easy to get kids in and out of too. That's one of the other big benefits of it.
Well, there you go. And I hadn't even thought about that. I just think about the performance of that aircraft. It's an amazing aircraft. What's going to make this really perfect today is during the show, we do have one young lady here. She's a 9th grader. She has Down syndrome, and she is soon going to be having her first flight experience. Her name is
Lorelei.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why I can't lock in on that, but we're really looking forward to talking to her a little bit later in the show. Guys, let's talk about Challenge Air and April. Let's start out with a little bit about the history of the organization and how it became what it is now.
So we, like you said earlier, we started in 1993, and we were started by a gentleman by the name of Rick Amber, and he was a Navy Air Force, a Navy pilot, and on his
Naval
last,
aviator, they're the best. I'm sorry,
I
a little
know,
bias.
on his last mission in Vietnam, his aircraft hit the back of the aircraft carrier, and
Ooh.
he ejected. But as he came down, his neck hit the back of the antennas from the
Oh
aircraft carrier.
gosh.
He broke his neck, and he came back to the United States as a quadriplegic. So
Wow.
after rehab and still loving aviation, although he's in a wheelchair, he actually learned how to fly a Cessna 172 with hand control. And so
Wow.
that was 1991. And he also was very involved with wheelchair tennis and taught some kids that had spina bifida how to play wheelchair tennis. And they found out he was also a pilot, and they wanted to learn how to fly. So he and one of his buddies met about 5 families in a field in Addison, Texas, and they took a couple of kids up. And Rick could see just in a matter of minutes how this experience raised the confidence of these kids that had spina bifida. So that day, when the day was over, he looked at his friend Sonny and said, "We're going to use my airplane as a motivational tool to help kids with special needs, boost their self-confidence and their self-esteem, and let them see, hey, if you can fly an airplane, you can do anything." So that was in 1993. They launched Challenge Air and started flying all over the country. And unfortunately, in 1996, Rick was diagnosed with bladder cancer, and we lost him in 97.
Mm.
His friends and family promised to keep Challenge Air going. So 30 plus years, we think we've flown over 40 to 45,000 kids all across the country.
Wow,
So
that's amazing.
yeah, it's strictly
That's an
volunteer.
insane number.
I know, not a lot. His goal is to fly 1 million kids. And so that's what we keep focusing on, is to make this a worldwide organization and someday hopefully fly 1 million kids.
No, I think that's really fantastic that you guys are doing that. Wow, that's
Isn't it amazing?
yeah, it really is. I'm going to go to you for a second and
Mhm.
ask, how did you? You told us how you kind of got inspired to get involved, but what made you say, "Hey, I want to do some more with this. I want to chair a fly day"?
Well, it has really been on my heart for 25 years. I mean, it's one of those moments in my life that I look back on and and I think about a lot. And so when I saw that Challenge Air was still around after all these years, and I saw that they were still having fly days, I reached out to them and I said, I want to do this on the East Coast. And I had just been organizing another event with AOPA and you
Yeah,
for Jack and Jill International.
right.
And so I reached out to Dave Roy at AOPA, and he just opened his arms to us.
Yeah.
And so
AOPA has been really great about that, by the
they've been
way, in
wonderful.
terms of this National Aviation Community Center that we're sitting in with a A36 Bonanza behind us, and there's a couple of Cessnas in there, and there's just a lot we have going on here, and AOPA has been very supportive with organizations like Challenge Air and Jack and Jill and others to give them a venue to do things that promote the good of aviation.
Well, that just started the ball rolling. So once I knew that AOPA was all in, I was able to secure the funds for our as a donation to get our date on the calendar, and that just all happened really quickly and really easily, too easily at that moment. And it just solidified the fact that this was what I was supposed to do and what I needed to do. And I was so excited to be able to bring this to Frederick.
So is there something that in your family history or what really drew you? You said this really kind of grabbed you emotionally.
Yeah. I remember having friends in high school that had special needs, and we would have lunch together, and I would always go and sit at their table with them in eighth and ninth grade. And it just something about it that those were my people. Those precious children that I went to school with made such an impact on me. And so
this is full circle.
It really is. It's just full circle.
Yeah. Wow. Let me go to you, Mark. So you've been a volunteer pilot for how long?
It's been over 10 years now. We actually tried to figure it out. I think it was 2015 was the first one I flew. And so it's, and I can't remember how many events, but I'm trying to do them all this year. I'm only one that I can't because of my niece's wedding.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm going to try to get to all of them this year. That's my personal goal. So.
Yeah. I have been involved in public benefit flying for a long time. And so it's interesting to me. I've really never known much about Challenge Air. How did you find out about it? What drew you to it? What has you so involved?
Well, I think the way I found out about it actually is I used to live at Heaven's Landing, and Heaven's Landing, the owners of Heaven's Landing had at that point, we've lost him now, but had a son that was special needs.
Where is that, by the way?
It's in the North Georgia mountains, up near Clayton, Georgia.
Yeah.
And so that's how I first met April, and I did my first event there. My personal thing, when I wanted to fly my entire life, and soloed December 3rd of 2003. In January, February, they found cancer in my left leg, so they had to remove a bunch of my quadriceps and 2 surgeries in March. But I still managed to get my private in July of 2004.
Wow.
Impressive.
And as I looked back on it, the aviation fact of doing that is what drove me and helped me get through it.
Gotcha.
So when I had this opportunity at Heaven's Landing, that was kind of my pay it forward experience. I still feel like it is, because you can see these kids, their faces change. I had one of the non-expressive kids in Fort Lauderdale, and I took his picture before, and I showed this one to April when we were there afterwards, and I said to him, you get to go to school on Monday, and when people ask you what you did, you flew a plane. You flew a plane.
Aviation
and
to the
his
rescue.
face is different. I showed my mother these pictures last night, and she was blown away. You could see it's subtle, but you just know what you do for the kids. And so that's kind of what started it. And once you do it, it's like a drug. You just get addicted to doing it and helping. I took my sister on her first flight in a small airplane over Christmas. She said, "Well, I don't know, I'm nervous about doing it." I said, "I've flown over 30 challenged kids. I think I got this."
Yeah. Exactly.
But it was fun. I mean, it's just the coolest thing. It really is.
Yeah. April, tell us a little bit more about how you pull volunteers together and continue to grow Challenge Air.
So we had a host of fly day application. So that's what Carrie found, and she filled it out. And then we just work with the cities and their volunteers, and we're in Dallas, and so obviously it takes so much coordination with the local volunteers, and so we try to provide the flyers and the recruitment tools and all that type thing that makes it easy for them to share the mission of Challenge Air to recruit volunteers and pilots and community leaders and sponsors and that type thing. So it's a labor of love to try to spread the word, because we're like, you didn't know about us and you're very involved in aviation. So
exactly.
we kind of feel like we're the best kept secret. So
you're very well kept secret.
I know I'm the only full-time paid staff, and we have 2 part-time volunteer employees that help. So it's really, we depend on the local teams and volunteers to make this dream a reality in the cities. And we try to host 10 to 12 events every year.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Tell us about, we're going to talk about the one that's going to be here in Frederick, but tell us about the one coming up in Dallas at the Commemorative Air Force.
So, like AOPA, the Commemorative Air Force has been an amazing new partner. This is our second year to be there. They have a museum that's beautiful, that's
It
housed
is.
with
Been there,
Fifi
done that.
and
Yeah.
and they've just got some fantastic aircraft in there. So the kids love it, the families love it, the siblings love it, the volunteers love it, the pilots love it. So it's just a great facility that they donate to Challenge Air, and we'll fly. We have 125 co-pilots signed up, and
Wow.
that's a
Wow.
lot of kids
That's a
for
lot.
one day. So yeah, they don't normally all show up because, stuff happens, but I imagine we'll fly about 100 to 210 kids from 9 to 4. And it's a
And how
pretty
many different
busy.
aircraft do you have to help handle that?
So we'll probably have 16 to 18 aircraft, and each pilot will take 6 or 7 missions. So it's a full
Yeah,
day. We could not do it without the pilots for
I think
sure.
I think what's e- extra special about it is it's not necessarily difficult, but it's not necessarily easy to take somebody that's, has some type is disabled, has a special need, is a Down syndrome or things like that in terms of keeping their attention and all of that type of thing. Mark, you've done a lot of that. Tell us a little bit about your experiences with dealing with different children with different special needs.
Well, there's different levels of enthusiasm. My very first flight, April's heard this story 100 times, but I was coming in. Heaven's Landing is a strip in the mountains, so the side we were using, I was having to come in on runway 5 over trees and then bring it down and land. Now it's a long runway, which I was used to. My very first flight, very first one, as I got into the flare at the runway, my co-pilot couldn't see over the windshield. So he reached forward to grab the yoke and pulled
Oh
back.
gosh.
And of course, so that was one. I had another one who he started getting anxious as we were out over the mountains. This was the same day. And at one point he says, I said to him, do you want us to go back? And he goes, I want to go back to America. And so, but
Precious.
It
the
is
cool
cute.
part is, well, and the thing is, that I have learned is that, and I've learned this through experience, is that you have to make it fun. So I said, hey, look, we can get back, but we got to go really fast. Is that okay? And the pilots that I was flying with all were extremely good. I kind of said, hey, coming hot, got to get back. And everybody went out, circled around, and gave extra flight time for the families they were having. We got down, and he was fine, and he was excited. And saw him later when I was living there a year later, and he was still talking about it. That he went
Wow.
flying. So
Wow.
and I had one in Fort Lauderdale this year. I had one that was scared to death of the controls when we were first there. She was English as a second language, and her mother's translating. She didn't want to be near the controls or anything else. By the time we were maybe 5 minutes up, she was actually using the
Um,
controls, and I let her fly. I mean, she actually got a chance to do it. So, I mean, you just, it's a transforming thing. You can't, it's hard to put into words. You just see these, it's such a thing when you look at, you just see them do it. And all of a sudden they realize they're doing it all. And she was terrified of the controls. I mean, I had to keep her back in the seat when we first got there because she was scared of it.
Yeah.
So you just never know.
Yeah, you're
It's
demonstrating a lot of patience and understanding when you're doing that, especially when you're as a pilot, you're focused on what you need to do. So a distraction like that, you want to be careful with it. But you brought up some really great points, I think, about how you deal with these special needs kids
mhm.
and how you have to kind of come into their world a little bit and say, okay, this is their perspective, so let me give them their perspective while I keep us, on target and that type of thing.
And I think that's what's important about Challenge Air is our airplane requirements for our airplanes. They do require that a guardian go with the child. So those airplanes have to be big enough to carry not just our participant, but also a family member, a guardian, brother or sister. And I think that's great that they get to share that experience together as well.
I think that's a really great point. Why don't we transition a little bit and talk about the upcoming event here? It's in about a month.
Mm-hmm.
on April 11th,
April the
a
11th.
Saturday.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about what's going to be going on with that right here at AOPA's National Aviation Community Center
Yeah.
at Frederick Municipal Airport.
We are so excited. I am every day getting more and more excitement in the community, people calling, wanting to participate as far as sponsors or activities. And so we are going to have a hangar full of airplanes, hangar full of kids, a hangar full of
airplanes,
a ramp full of airplanes, and just a hangar full of activities for the kids to do while they're waiting for their flight. We're going to have cheerleaders, and we're going to have band members, and we're going to have dance teams to cheer those kids on.
Wow.
And
It'll be a little festival.
It's going to be a festival. It's going to be great. And once those kids step off that airplane and walk down that red carpet, they are going to be just celebrated. And one thing that I'm super excited about is Udvar Hazy is going to the National Air and Space Museum.
Yes.
Udvar Hazy is going to be giving us their moon map. And we're going to have a giant moon map here. The kids are going to get to build a rocket with a straw and some clay, and they're going to get to launch those rockets on the face of the moon. And so just a lot of aviation inspired. I wanted to be very intentional with the activities, have it aviation related, and just be able to celebrate aviation, celebrate these kids, and show them that everything is possible for them.
So tell us who are some of the other organizations that have been supporting you.
So
we several associations have been involved.
Yeah. So the National Air Transportation Association was at another event that I was at, and they came and taught the kids how to marshal. They got to put the little vest on with their I'm not sure what they're called. Cool. What are they called? The little,
oh yeah,
those things.
Yeah, you caught me tongue-tied. Mark, help me.
Batons?
Batons, the little lighter things.
Batons,
so the kids are going to get to practice marshaling. That way, when they get in the airplane and they see those marshalers, they will understand. We're going to have some air traffic controllers here talking about pattern work, showing the kids they get to stick their arms out and fly a pattern and actually see and hear what they will be hearing on the airplane. So they'll be comfortable with that. And so I'm just super excited for the agencies that are coming together that are willing to help us and be a part of this event.
Yeah, absolutely. I started thinking because I think it would be kind of cool if we could make arrangements for them to go up in the tower while they're here.
Yes, I would love that too. So we definitely
we'll talk about that offline.
We will.
Being creative here, but yeah, no, I think that's great. It's nice that this is spreading around the country and being able to do it in different areas and things like that. And I think. Again, the uniqueness of it, and then the support that you're getting from everybody, is really, really good. I was going to ask about. Actually, I had a couple of questions, but what are the type of things that you need for an event like this, and that Challenge Air needs to help it continue to grow? Obviously, donations are a big piece of it.
Yeah, donations are a huge piece of it. It is. Although the AOPA has been great and has just given us the world here with this beautiful hangar and this facility in the airport has been so wonderful. Signature here has been so great being a support for us. But, it still takes money to put on an event like this, and especially to provide that free for all of our participants. So I think April can probably talk more about what it.
Yeah, April, tell us a little bit more about how people can help support what you guys do.
So, obviously we want this to be the best day for our kids. And so we provide everything free. So that's breakfast, lunch, they get a t-shirt. Carrie's actually got our t-shirt on that's for this year. So we also give the pilots a shirt. They get their own t-shirt that says, or it's like a polo shirt that says volunteer pilot on it. We also have to pay for the insurance for the day, and that's very costly. We rent tables and chairs. So although we try to get as much as we can donated, there's a lot of stuff that are hard costs that we have to pay for. And so we figure it costs us between $20,000 and $25,000 per event. to host one of these. And it doesn't really matter if there's 50 kids or 100 kids. It's about the same cost.
Sure.
So we're very fortunate, and we get money from foundations. I write grants. We get money from corporations in the local communities, and then obviously individuals are our biggest supporter. So we couldn't do it without the love and support of all those, love aviation and special needs kids, and just want to make a difference in our community and in the lives of these kids.
Yeah. Mark, what happens when you tell your fellow pilots that what you're doing and they hear about the type of flying that you're doing of taking these special needs kids up?
It's really all of them. Some of them are just, wow, you do this, and and you say, yeah, but it's at first they're kind of anxious about it. They think, oh, well, what about this and what about this? But those two incidents that I talk about are probably the most dramatic of any that I've ever had. So if you really think about it, that's nothing more than somebody just being nervous in the cockpit. They get they get surprised that that they can actually do something of value with their plane.
Right.
It's like and I have even said this, and I told April this. I probably, given my travel schedule and some of this, I don't know that I would still own my plane, except that I use it a lot for the Challenge Air. And first of all, it's a great cross country flight. I mean, it was 3.5 hours to Fort Lauderdale. It's going to be 4-ish up to Baltimore, but that's a great flight. It's fun. We get to fly somewhere. And then I get to take the time and do this with these kids. There's all sorts of benefits. I mean, I even tell the pilots, hey, look, you want to learn how to manage your plane and get your plane and fly with different weight, different feeling, with fuel changes. Sometimes you have to be very careful with where you are. You all of a sudden get a change. I got to do a little Top Gun dive in approach in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
And I said to my family, I'm like, hey, this is what he's asked me to do, or we got to wait to go around behind a Pilatus. And they're like, do the Top Gun carrier landing. And I was like, okay. And I think the father was probably the most excited, but his daughter was the special needs co-pilot. She was loving it. I mean, that's all they were talking about. We did Top Gun. We did Top Gun. So I just tell them, I tell them, you come do it once, you're going to do it again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's addicting. It is addicting because you're doing something so good for the kids.
Sure. Speaking of Top Gun and things like that, that was the other, and you guys kind of touched on a little bit earlier, the impact this has on some of the kids in terms of them really considering flying as something that they could do. So tell us about that.
So I have a really good example with that. We have two young men that are from Fort Worth, and they started flying with Challenge Air when they were 5, and they were born autistic and with cerebral palsy. And so the doctors pretty much told their parents, they're not ever going to be able to do anything. So you should probably just put them in a home and just try to keep them, safe and whatever. So when they were 5, they started flying with Challenge Air. Neither one of them were verbal. By the time they were 7, they were talking, and all they talked about was flying airplanes.
Amazing.
So, and they'll tell you now they both graduated high school. One was a salutatorian. They both played in the marching band. They both have graduated from college, and they both have jobs. One's an electrical engineer and one's an aeronautical engineer. And they will come back and volunteer now that they've aged out of the program. But every time you talk to them, you'll say, what motivated you to, go to college? And they'll tell you Challenge Air, that because of Challenge Air, they had the confidence and the self-esteem to know that they could do anything if they just put their mind to it. So,
I think that's really significant what you bring up, though, because we're talking about the impact that it has in motivating and inspiring these kids. And it's not that they're necessarily going to be a pilot, but it's that it's inspiring enough to say you can do things, you can do something. And, you said one electrical engineer and the other an aeronautical engineer. And hey, those are great careers. And the aeronautical engineer still keeps him in the space of aviation. It's just applicable to his skill set.
And I think
Right.
something that has resonated with me in April and Juliet told me this story is how many kids, how many of our co-pilots get in the airplane with their brother or sister, and their brother or sister has become a pilot.
Yeah.
And
Great
so
point.
it goes across the family. I mean, it just inspires the whole family, this event. And that's what I love about it.
Mark, were you getting ready to say something?
Yeah, I just said that's one of the other ones. I met a volunteer who is a pilot who went on a Challenge Air flight with her challenge sibling. And so that's a story that I just go, oh, and for me, I wanted to fly forever and finally did it when I was 40. And you just see somebody that gets that inspiration, gets that opportunity, and then takes off and becomes a pilot and goes and flies for an airline. There's nothing more gratifying than it's a win-win-win for the entire family.
Absolutely. So as we kind of start to wrap things up, let's talk about the event one more time.
Okay.
It's on Saturday, the 11th. It's taking place here at the National Aviation Community Center for AOPA at Frederick Municipal Airport. What's the timing on it? What's the day look like?
So I think the day looks like 9 to 4. On the registration site, when you register to be a co-pilot, you can pick a time slot. And so not everybody will be here at the same time. So we'll have this rolling group of participants that come throughout the day.
Okay.
And so you can register your time slot, show up, and we'll have the activities for you. You'll get your slot for your time to fly, and you'll get to go flying. So
how do they get a hold of you guys?
So they can go to challengeair.com and go to the Frederick site, and there's a registration right there for our co-pilots, for volunteers, for agencies. If there's an agency that wants to set up a table, you can register there as well.
And for people that are hearing about this that may want to become involved, just not so much necessarily for this event, but just want to help Challenge Air or get involved or be a volunteer, what's the next steps for them?
I think April can probably answer that better than I can.
So they would just go to our website and they can sign up for our newsletter, and then they can also see where our upcoming cities are going to be. So we're going to be in, like you said, Dallas on May 21st, and then we'll be in Frederick on April 11th, and then we're going to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we'll be in Spokane, Washington, and Sonoma, California, both all in May, and then Spokane's in June. And then we take the summer off because it's really too hot to fly anywhere. And then we go Tulsa, Denver, Kansas City, and McKinney. So basically, they'll just sign up for the newsletter, and every month we put out a newsletter, and it'll tell new opportunities to get involved. And we do fundraising events on our website, and we're on social media. So there's lots of ways to get involved. They can share with their friends and family that they may know somebody with special needs that can get come get a flight in one of the cities that they're nearby, or just help us spread the word so we're not the greatest kept secret in the world anymore.
Absolutely. So
it's a vicious rumor that volunteers occasionally do get to fly at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So for those of you that want to have fun, I took somebody up that's been an avionics tech, took his first flight in GA airplane in Fort Lauderdale. That was my last flight of the day.
Nice.
And actually, that was my first flight ever in a small airplane, was at my Challenge Air. And I have a picture. Maybe I'll share it with you.
Okay.
But they took me up for a flight at the end of the day. And again, it was the highlight. And that kind of got the wheels turning for me as to maybe I don't want to be a flight attendant. Maybe I want to be a pilot. But I never pursued that. I've been a flight attendant all these years and been happy with that. And I'm raising a pilot. My daughter is a pilot.
Exactly.
My husband is a pilot. So
aviation family all the way through.
Yes.
All the way, yeah.
Are you ready? All right.
There she is.
All right. You want to sit in your own chair? Okay. You want to sit in my lap?
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Is this okay?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay. Let me turn this way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Lorelai,
You're Lorelai. And how old are you?
15,
And what grade are you in?
next grade.
Ninth grade. That's
Mhm.
right. And are you super excited to get to fly in an airplane?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing going to be, do you think?
Looking at clouds.
Looking at the clouds. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Awesome. Well, anything you want to tell us?
No.
No?
No.
So tell
Aren't you
me,
going on an exciting trip over the ocean?
Mm-hmm.
where are you going on spring break?
I'm going to London on spring break.
London on spring break?
Mhm.
That's right.
That sounds really exciting.
I'm going with my entire family.
And your entire family. That's
Mhm.
going to be great.
Yep.
That's some serious flying, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You have a twin sister, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. So tell me, who do you know that's a pilot?
Because I like pilots.
Who do you know that's a pilot?
Oh, yeah.
Mia's a pilot.
Mhm.
That's your neighbor, huh?
Yes.
And who else? Mr. Brent?
Yes.
And have they told you? There's Mia.
There she is.
Mhm.
So this is my daughter, Mia Anderson. She is a pilot and
She's a pilot's pilot.
yeah, not quite old enough to be a Challenge Air pilot as she's only 20 years old. But next year, we are definitely going to recruit her to be part of our Challenge Air pilot crew. So anyway, we're really excited that you're going to get to be a pilot, a co-pilot on
Mhm.
Challenge Air Day. And we're so excited that you're going to join us and get to go see those clouds in the sky up close and personal. Are you excited?
Yes.
Good, good.
So wave and tell everybody, see them soon.
Bye.
Can you say we're cleared for departure?
Yep. Be careful, Foxo.
There you go. Good job. Good job.
Well done. Well done. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All
Enjoy
right.
your trip to London.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That kind of puts an exclamation point
Oh,
on it.
it
doesn't
does.
Oh, yeah.
It does.
Yeah,
I mean,
it really does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, as we wrap up things, I like to do what I call an around the room, ask each of you to kind of give your perspective and anything else that you want to say about Challenge Air, flying special needs kids and are introducing them to aviation and flying them, et cetera, et cetera. So, and I'm going to start with you.
okay. Well, I want to say that this opportunity, this organization, if you choose to be involved, will change your life, and it is just so humbling and precious to be a part of the day. And I can't wait 25 years later to finally be a part of it again. And so I'm just super excited.
Yeah, that's your passion for it is really inspiring. Mark?
I've been part of the AOPA since I got my private license, so I'm excited to actually come to Frederick Field, first of all. But then,
Is this your first time coming to headquarters?
Yeah, my first time coming to headquarters.
Oh, we got to make sure we get you on a tour.
Yeah, we'll
but,
come early. We'll make sure that happens.
Oh yeah, I'll be coming up. I'm really looking forward to. I look forward to every event. I mean, it's just something. It's put your brain, your life in such perspective. And all I can say is to any pilot out there, check your hours, get there. Anybody that's got a plane that's not experimental, unfortunately, but if you can do it, it's one of the best things. You will not regret it. It is, it's all volunteer. You pay the fuel, you do all that. You won't think twice about it. It is the most amazing thing. And we have so many repeat pilots now that come back every year. And that's why it just, it's the most gratifying thing. It's the best thing I do with my airplane.
Yeah. April, take us home.
Okay, yeah, I actually wrote something up so I wouldn't forget to say
Okay.
aviation has always been about possibilities, and it's about looking at the sky and believing that you can go somewhere new. So for the children that we serve, that belief is not always easy. Many of them spend their lives being told they can't do anything. But when they step onto the runway, put on a headset, and hear a pilot say, "You're my co-pilot today," something changes. They aren't defined by a diagnosis, they're defined by an ability. So when the airplane lifts off, it's more than a flight. It's confidence, it's dignity, it's proof that they belong, not just in aviation, but anywhere they choose to go. So that's why we partnership with pilots, airports, organizations like AOPA that matter so much, because together we're not just flying airplanes, we're building belief. and belief that can take you anywhere.
You know what? That was perfect.
It's
That
perfect.
sums everything up
It does.
perfectly. So thank you very much for that. April and Mark, it's really great to have met you guys virtually, at least, and to talk about Challenge Air. If it wasn't on my radar before, it's flashing. It's popping on my radar now for sure.
I hope you can come out on April 11th.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I think I'm coming off of a trip, but I'm definitely trying to make it here. So I'm looking forward to it actually, and I'm involved with public benefit flying with the Angel Flight West. So I know a little bit about it, and I just think it's great. As a matter of fact, Angel Flight West, we're honoring Challenge Air.
I know. I was just going to say that.
Yeah, at the Endeavor Awards.
Awesome.
So,
yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, oh, great. Well, I'll meet you then. Thank you, guys. This has been a on-location production of all things aviation and aerospace. It is designed to mentor, enlighten, and inspire aspiring young aviation professionals and just let everybody know about some of the things going on in our industry. All Things Aviation and Aerospace is a production of the Private Air Media Group, executive produced by me, Vince Mickens. And I hope that wherever you get your podcasts, you'll subscribe and as well as like on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. But until next time, please stay safe, safe flying if you're a pilot like me, and have a good one.